Good morning, everyone. This is the Vermont House Committee on Commerce and Economic Development. It is Tuesday, March 24th, 2026 at 9 in the morning. So this morning we have a special guest with us this morning. We have the Japanese Consul General Takahashi with us, coming up from Boston. I think this is the second time that we've had you with us. It's really a pleasure and honor for us to have you and to speak with you this morning. So welcome.
Thank you very much for having us, and it is always great to be back to this very beautiful state of Green Mountains, which again reminds me of my hometown, we were direction. And thank you also, for your very, very, kind gesture to pass us, I believe, in a couple of hours, be a very, very special resolution to remember this, what we call 3/11, natural disasters, actually, which hit, my, home prefecture of Iwate, so I'm from the region of the hardest hits, by the this earthquake tsunami. So as a representative of the Japanese government and as a representative of that specific region of the country, once again, I'd like to extend my sincere gratitude to your very kind gestures and friendship, to extend your emphases and once again, solidarity, with our people of Japan. Thank you very much. And it's really, meaningful for us to keep you updated of what is going on, not only in Boston area, but in Massachusetts, in general, which has been really, really, our activities, has been really, really developing in a very productive manner. And if you take a please look at the materials, this is a sort of summary of our recent activities. Concentrate in New England area. Well, first of all, we've been extremely pleased to see the development of the political relationship with the local authorities. Many of them, the city of Boston, Massachusetts, and other, neighboring states, state legislatures, they have passed the special, resolutions or, issued a special proclamations, to designate the mandates and other, special sort of anniversary occasions and so on. So, and definitely, it would be ideal, to have something similar to this, with the state of Vermont, in the future. In my view, it's impactful on the bilateral relationship, two sides, in many, many ways. To have at least, one annual gathering, with all of the stakeholders and players in this area. So, collaborative in the potential areas. And these very active development of the political relations with the local authorities are backed by the mainly in Massachusetts, business relations between the two sides, especially in Greater Boston area, innovation related business activities are really upbeat. And now, in Massachusetts alone, we have 240 Japanese companies operating, which is I'm really pleased to share with you that so now over the last decade in Japan has been number one in terms of the number of the companies, and this is a quite a new phenomenon based on the very rapidly growing startup ecosystem, mainly in the area of life science and biotechs. So the major players, from our business circle, based in Boston, and now pharmaceutical companies, to begin with, Takeda, AstraZeneca, and other, really big name companies. So I have been really excited to see this development, and to make our role the convener and connector, between the two sides and New England and Japanese business circles. We did just launch a new sort of initiative. If I can ask you to take another look at this, documents, with the title of J-Nexus. J-Nexus, means, Japan, New England nexus for innovation. The idea is, well, to create sort of, common and open information platform. Everyone can, have access to. So, because still, in my view, the literacy, on the Japanese side, has been at the embryonic stage, even vis-a-vis Boston ecosystem. My previous immediate reports was Israel. So I spent 3 years, 2 years before the October 7th and 1 year. Even with that, another startup nation, people are relatively not aware of what is really going on, in this part of the world, in the area of innovation activities. And now we've got the new administration, in Japan. Prime Minister Takaichi visited Washington, D.C., last weekend, had a great talk, with the president. But, the new administration, has made a very, very strong commitment, to what they call, fundamental reinforcement of the national security capability. And another keyword, of the new administration has the revival of the technology-driven innovation. And both of them, in my view, are super relevant, to this part of the world, to our engagement, local, business and R&D players. So this is a sort of a new effort. We have just started to really create a sort of again information platform that is infrastructure for the future development of business and R&D activities between the two sides. So of course this is New England wide effort. I hope. So definitely another idea is to really look into another potentials potential collaborations between the two sides. And Vermont has been relatively untapped in the sense of business, potential business activities and also, R&D activities. So, now, I have passed, 1.5 years, since my arrival. And, for this year, my special attention, goes to, your states and maybe together with, Connecticut, which is, geographically a little bit, remote, from our base, in Boston. And I do look forward to, your future collaboration with you. And again, this is totally open to any of you, including the political, figures. So if you have, anything, to disseminate, to the Japanese, stakeholders and, players, you are more than welcome to join us, in this, sort of, new effort, to create, the opportunities, for the Japan, Vermont, collaboration. So thank you very much. So this is just a kickoff, remarks, from our side.
Thank you. We look forward to a meaningful relationship with Japan, and I'm sure Tim is with us this morning from the Agency of Commerce.
You're here, my friend. Old friend.
Yes.
And having said that, now I checked, old friend Lynch-san, and obviously, so this is, another tool, as I mentioned before, you can, make use of, future activities, with us. At the same time, I think, there is still, room for the development. One of the very strong points, Vermont, vis-a-vis Japan, is your very strong, very well-known, Japanese language, educational institutions, to begin with the Middlebury College, which has, more than 60 years, history, of the Japanese language education, still considered to be the very best, institutions, to Japanese. Now, they have also, opened the, master's degree courses, to really train the non-Japanese, teachers in the Japanese language. It's a very strategic agenda for us because the current generations are really aging. They are more or less Japanese or Japanese Americans, but really the aging, is strategic issue for us. So we have been looking into the possibilities to have another newer generations of the and I do count on non-Japanese teachers for the future of the Japanese language. So this is really the center of the earth in terms of the production of these really capable future Japanese teachers. Also, definitely, we are super interested in the deepening of the sister state, relationship, with the prefecture of Tottori. Peter Lynch-san, all friends, devoted, to the expansion and development of the relations very, very seriously. And again, capitalizing on this, already established, trust and friendship, between two sides. I've been always, thinking about really, something like in Japan Day, kind of, a once a year occasion would be very much helpful for, to really elevate the visibilities of our bilateral relationship and literacy, of your economy and, of your industries and educational industries, among the Japanese in shuttles. Yeah, so this is, another agenda. And I've been always looking forward to, the opportunities, to have a direct talk, with their government to really look into the possibilities for the future, possible, events to really put us, under the spotlight, of this very bright future, around relations. So business, academia, and sister state, relationship. So these are three pillars, I have always in my mind, to work with you, to expand and the people. Looking forward to that.
We did just pass in the House last week the sister state legislation. So now it's gone over to the Senate. So we're hoping that by May it'll go to the governor for his signature.
All right. Wow. Congratulations. Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, we do look forward to that. Definitely.
We as well.
Mhm. Yeah. And thank you very much for working group, colleagues, for your efforts to make that kind of scheme and setting happening, right? Yeah.
Any questions for Council General? Jonathan?
Mhm.
Will, I understand that, Totri Governor Shinji Hirai will be is he traveling to America?
Yes. So that is my understanding. And if you if you are interested, of course, seriously, I can push the authorities, in China. Well, the thing is, they're gonna have the next edition of the Japan-US Governance Council, in New York, City, in October time, and many governors, including Governor Hirai, looks like thinking about participating, in that event. So if he will, actually, joining them, in that conference, maybe there could be a chance, for us, to see the possibilities of inviting him, to state of Vermont, and that would be, really, that could be a momentous, occasion for us to have the sort of first of all, all in one, kind of big, event, to be held, here in Vermont, and again, I do have ambition, to see the Japan Day, kind of momentum out of this possible business. So this is one of the possible scenario, but so far nothing has been really confirmed. But if you are unanimous, in inviting him in the case of his visit to the US, definitely I will convey your message to the authorities. That would be my pleasure. Thank you very much for mentioning that. Yeah, and now we have Cooper-san, with a very, very strong, commitment, to the development of the bilateral relations, with Japan. He came all the way, from the state of Vermont, to attend, to Boston, to attend, our national days, reception. So such a honor, so thankful, for your long-standing cooperation. Yeah.
So, Council Chair, thanks very much for being here. I appreciate, a lot of, you touched on a bunch of elements that are really important in terms of our bilateral relationship. You're talking about business, you're talking about academic kinds of things. And I think you mentioned or alluded to anyway, some other very important components of that relationship. Certainly spiritual. In terms of a lot of folks and groups in Vermont who are very much in tune with some of your spiritual religious traditions. I think that's a really pretty strong element. And then I'd also mention we share democratic values, which I think are so important in terms of where we find ourselves in the world. Yeah.
Yes.
But that was actually just a prelude to a question I have, which is, in your opinion, which team in the highest levels of Japanese baseball will make it to the top this year? Don't mean to put you on. No. This might be a delicate question too. So.
Very important nowadays. They are more diplomat, than we are in Shohei Ohtani. Again, I'm from the same town as Shohei Ohtani. Yeah, the town is as snowy as it is, And yes, World Baseball Classic, not necessarily happy about the achievement, they made for this round, but still, it's bravo, to see the really successful, achievement, by the Venezuelan, for players. So another very moving in the scenes, and I describe it as the sports diplomacy, which is very, very important. And yeah, I mean, now the best team, on the planet, like it or not, looks like Los Angeles Dodgers has almost become the Japanese team, out of the 6 starters for the openers game, 3 are the Japanese, maybe they even can compose whole rotation of the pitchers by the Japanese. So definitely we have all the Japanese people have been paying strong attention to them.
Right.
But at the Consul General in Boston, of course, we do have Yoshida-san, actually, who played his role as a slugger, for the Samurai Japan, that is the national team of the Japan, in the World Baseball Classic team. So I'm always ready to root for the Red Sox. Yeah, and speaking about the Red Sox. Yeah, sports diplomacy, is really important. Now, if you turn the page, the second page from the last,
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, I know that.
another very strong and and relatively undiscovered sort of bonds, between New England and Japan. That actually the American baseball was introduced by one of the Mainers more than 150 years ago. And so 3 years ago our professional baseball league did celebrate 150th anniversary of the introduction of American baseball to Japan. But actually, almost no one, in Japan is aware of this history and of this, gentleman. But, most surprisingly, when I got here, literally zero, Mainer was aware of this history. And, that ignited an engine, of us to go for the, commemoration, of this, very, very, especially in the current, context, of the U.S.-Japan relations, meaningful, historic, sort of discovery, historic, bonds, between the two sides. And, Masataka Yoshida, like here, he readily, accepted, my idea to go to the, amazing, moving, part of the story is, Horace Wilson's farm is still there. I mean, in the same house, where Horace Wilson was born, the house was, more than 200 years ago, old, and with the, great grandnephew of this Horace Wilson's family are still, living there. It's such a beautiful story. And that brought, a national TV broadcasting station, made a special coverage together with, one of the, biggest, Japanese daily papers, and yeah, so it's huge, attention, from the, Japanese public, and now, the mainers, including the politicians and business circles and the academia, they are fully engaged in the establishment of a physical sort of monument of this Horace Wilson gentleman to really celebrate our special bonds through sports, dancing, sport. So sports is very, very meaningful. Yes.
Another
Thank you very
passion.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, for the question. Yeah. And then we do, maybe I mentioned it before, I mean, everyone, in Japan, is very familiar with the name of Vermont itself because our very, very popular curry.
Yes,
from
yeah,
American
yes,
rice,
Vermont curry, right.
So, I am so proud of that. The nation should be proud of that too. Yes, so for that kind of Japan Day event, Japan Day reception, definitely we do need a Vermont curry to be served.
With some t-shirts.
Yeah, yeah.
Ladies.
First, I'd like to apologize for being late. Excuse me.
No problem. Thank you very much for the time.
Is there a chance we could trade copies of this?
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Our mistake. So this is yours.
You did your homework.
Yeah, this is yours. Yeah, and the point is, it's always in the on our website. So that everyone can have access to this updated information. And we have also posted a so-called Japanese PI list on the same page on the website so that anyone who is interested in starting the research and development activities in New England can have access to these PI other researchers, Japanese scientific ones. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, activate, accelerate.
Any other questions for Council General? Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank
this
you
morning.
very
It's an
much
honor and
for
a
having
privilege
us,
for us to
once
see you
again, and I'd like to make it as a sort of annual event,
Yeah.
for us,
Great.
To get together, for updating activities together with you, to seek for, the next, windows of opportunities to expand our operation. Thank you very much.
You're always welcome.
Thank you.
So we're on the floor at 10 o'clock. Most of the day is gonna be spent there. If we're off the floor by 3 or 3:30, we'll be back. To take a look at H337, which is the rounding cash transactions, the penny bill. I think we're talking at the end of last week with about retailers, their interest in having us try to put something in place the retailers on how to deal with that issue, so we'll take a look at that. It will be done by 4:15, 4:20, so everybody can get to their places that they need to go by 4:30. So, any questions? Okay, 211 is up today. Remember that to be on the Florida Sport Night. Again, everyone that presented last week did a great job. Tony, you did an excellent job. Edie, Jonathan, Emily, everyone that presented last week did a wonderful job. Michael, you did a great job on yours too. So, keep up the good work. And, so we'll hopefully be back this afternoon. If not,